You're too old, and it's too late to start. Has anyone ever said that to you? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's too late to quit. And oh yeah, you're not too old. In fact, the good news is that it's always the right time to start. You've come to the right place. And me and my friends are going to share our stories of why we will never, ever throw in the towel. Welcome to the Too Late to Quit podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Iftikharuddin. Let's go. Hello, hello, hello. Check one, check one. ¿Empezamos?
Sí.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very, very special edition of the Too Late to Quit podcast. This is your host, Jeff Iftikharuddin. And today in the studio, we have a very, very special guest all the way from Colombia. We have Diana Naranjo here with us. And I want to first, before we get to talking, she's right here next to me, so she's hearing me talk. As I say this is not a pre-recorded intro. From the first moment that I heard her perform, I knew that I wanted to have her on this podcast because this podcast focuses on spreading the message that whenever you decide to start something, whether it's your music career or whatever it is you want to do, that I believe that it's always the right time to start. And the focus, the motivation of this podcast was for musicians who were on the fence about starting their career and happen to be north of 40. I want people to know out there, if you can hear the sound of my voice, that if you are under 40 or if you are over 40 or if you're over 50 or if you're over 60, 70, 80, it's okay. You can start right now. And Diana is someone that has this incredible career, and she's very forthright and honest. And she was telling me about how she's in a new stage where she is essentially feels like she's starting over again, starting anew, beginning anew. And that is why I had to invite her onto the podcast. So Diana, thank you so much for coming on to the Too Late to Quit podcast.
Thank you for having me here.
So what I'd love to do is just to help everybody get a sense for who you are. Could you tell all of us what is the very first musical memory that you have when you connected to music?
Oh my God, myself in when I was 10 years, I was 10 years old, and my dad took me to a radio program. It was called Discometro Musical. I was 10, but the rest of the singers were 17 and over. And
Wow.
So it was so funny because I was looking at them like that, like looking up. I was small, and but I felt so comfortable, and I knew that was the place to be, the right place to be.
And so you were 10 years old when that happened.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And what are your earliest memories as far as connecting with music or with songs? Were you always writing songs?
Not always, no. But I was, I also have this memory going to bed before 10 o'clock, of course. I was obligated to go to bed because I want to stay late doing things. And I have a radio, and I slept with the radio on very low. And I was listening these songs and sometimes crying. I didn't know why. I just was feeling sad for the stories or happy for the stories that I heard on the songs. And later I started writing. I had a poem notebook, and I started writing things that I I like from this song, from the other song, putting together, and then I wrote my own words. It sounds like a little girl in love of music.
That's a really cool way to put that. Can you tell me first of all, can you please tell everybody where you are from in Colombia?
I'm from Manizales, Colombia. This is on the triangle of the coffee.
Can you explain that to our listeners who have yet to travel to Colombia?
Everyone think that being from Colombia is from Cartagena or Bogota or Medellin. That is, of course, is very known for Pablo Escobar or things like that. But our culture is so is funny. We have this power of laugh about our own tragedies, and it's part of our culture. So I cannot deny that. But I'm part of another kind of culture, the coffee culture, and I'm from the mountains. We were talking about that last week. About we have a El Nevado del Ruiz, which is a snow mountain, and maybe that's why we are so a little conservative. Know myself. My dad and my mom, they tried, but I couldn't. But you have something when they try to make you in a way, but you have your own way. It's making sense what I'm saying to you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, please, yes.
And triangle of coffee is we grow coffee is Risaralda, Pereira, Armenia, Manizales, and Medellin, which is 4 hours from Manizales. So that's why I explain better, because we are not from the coast. I'm not from the coast. I'm not from Bogota, but I'm from this little place, the Triangle of Coffee.
Does Manizales have any special connection to the music, say different from Bogota or Cartagena, or how would you describe the musical environment in Manizales?
I think we are very cultural. We love theater. We love what else? Music. Music is a kind of capital of tango, also like Medellin. Traditional music, serenades, mariachis, but because it's a city, it's a cultural city, but it's like a student city, like Austin. A lot of people from Colombia travel to my city to study for the university. So we are very bohemian, and we like música protesta, protest music. So I think we have this kind of poetry and bohemian connected to our university time, the time that we went to the university. I think I know, for example, Silvio Rodriguez. That was the first music that inspired me to write. Silvio Rodriguez, Mercedes Osa, La Trova Cubana. It's because of this influence of the students and ese deseo de change the world.
Okay. The desire to change the world. That's what I was curious. So when you described something really interesting when you were talking about how when you were little and you would listen to the radio in your bedroom and the songs would move you to tears. Were these artists like Silvio Rodriguez, or who are the first people you remember listening to?
No, in the beginning were like baladas music, very romantic music. The most famous people from Mexico, Spain, some from Colombia, and I think the balada which is a very romantic genre, is a good base for you to start writing. But I love that transformation, because after the trova, Silvio Rodriguez, all these beautiful bases for writing songs that not really talk about love, but life, memories, and these songs to change the world, I start writing in having this combination of romantic with trova cubana, and then I try to be a little more commercial. So I try to be influenced from other people, like more globally.
So if you can walk us all through it. So there you are growing up in Manizales. Then you had your first performance when you were 10. How then, because I want, and I'm going to post links on the page here so you can check out Diana's, all of her socials. But if you go through your YouTube, you have a lot of videos up there and they have a lot of views. I'm very curious, and you can see it's through various seasons of your career. Can you walk us through the very beginning from that first performance at 10, then how do you go to when you're recording your first album? What is that? Walk us through that entire process.
It's been beautiful because, as I told you, I started singing songs from Marisela, Judy. That those songs we know those songs in Colombia like música para planchar, music that housewives used to do their chores. But that has a lot of things to express, so I love it. I still listen that kind of music. And then the Discómetro Musical, serenades, because I really wanted to support myself from music. I've been singing a lot of times. I've sung for foundations, for friends. It's not like the money is the most important to me, but I really wanted to take it seriously in so many ways. Then I went to the. I think the street have been a good university for me. The different stages, 10 people, thousands, like in New York. So I did my career in Manizales. Then I started studying in the Bellas Artes. I also have some teachers, guitar professors, but I was always, because I started very young having kids, I was disciplined, but I was a little dispersed. So I started traveling, singing in Pereira and different cities of Colombia, tropical music, because I was looking for my space. And I enjoyed it, but I knew that wasn't the thing that I wanted to do. With the years, I came to United States, to Miami, and there I started writing my own songs and producing my first album, Donde Falta el Amor. And I'm so proud of that song. I'm proud of that song, and I'm not proud of all my songs. I started singing in restaurants, clubs. Then I created a show called Entre Amigos, which in Miami is so hard to get people together to listen this kind of music. I mix my songs with música para planchar. And also the music of Silvio Rodriguez, because I have this bohemia, and wherever I go, I look for a little corner that have music for your soul. And then looking for that corner for the soul, that's what I ended living in Austin, which I found. I have found here a lot of soul, a lot of beautiful people doing their own songs, even if it is for free. So it's been I did also some plays in Miami, and I didn't like to act, but for some reason, life has put me there, and I have to do it. And it's a good experience because even when you're singing, you're acting in so many ways. You're trying to transmit your lyrics, the emotions. It's an acting, but it's honest. You learn how to do that.
So, so I'm curious. That felt like the Wikipedia of Diana Naranjo. So, what I'm so curious to know is what is the, so you said you went from Manizales to New York first?
No, to Miami
To
first.
Miami. At that point, had you already been studying English
Yes, by myself. I
by
really
yourself?
like English.
Okay.
Always, when I was in fifth grade of that was elementary school.
Uh-huh.
I was buying books from a nun. She was selling. I think she was doing her own businesses, selling to the students used books from high school students. And I started the days of the week, the months, the basic things. But with the time, I went to in a course. I don't remember, like for a semester. And then when I came here, I did three more levels. So that was another reason to move to Austin, because I spent 14 years in Miami, and I understood everything, but it was so hard for me to speak. I still have that problem, but I'm more fluent now and I still learning and practicing and talking.
Well, so why did you decide to go to Miami?
I didn't decide it. I was separated already, not divorced, with the dad, my kid's dad, and he wanted to be with them, and I found that I needed to come with them also. I didn't want to risk that I sent them and maybe I didn't see them again. I was a little scared. So he made papers for all of us, and I'm so glad, because it was hard for all of us, for me especially, but they found their own way, and they speak English, they're fluent, they were happy, they have this country has so many beautiful things that we have enjoyed too. So that was the reason that I ended up in Miami.
Okay, so you land in Miami, and from how much time passes from when you get there to where you start recording music?
Like 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that time?
I started because I needed a job, and I had already worked in so many orchestras and groups. So I started singing with a band that is very known in Mexico, Colombia, La Sonora Dinamita, which was cumbia. We traveled a lot in the United States. But when I went to Colombia the first time and I listened to the music, they say, wow, La Sonora Dinamita, you're the singer. And everyone was trying to find a video of me with the Sonora Dinamita on YouTube. But no, they stopped recording for a long time ago, and they just were hiding new singers, and that's it.
Okay.
But it's fun. I think I enjoy every kind of music, but that wasn't either the music that I want to record. Then I was singing in different places, and I get to know Andres Saavedra, a very young producer, and I told him I need to record a song. I think I have trust in myself in so many ways, even if sometimes now I'm not very confident saying I trust in what I'm doing. I think I always have trust in that I have something to give. So that's why I say with all my confidence, let's start recording a song. Of course, every song needs money because I'm no producer, so I hire him. And it's so beautiful when you see a song transformed, a song that you started with a guitar, and then you can listen the chorus and all the things that you can do with a song when you produce it. So I produced my first song with him, and then some other producers in Miami, but always looking for my identity. It's not easy to find someone that respect that sound that you are trying to transmit, that sound that you have in your head. When I write a song, I have almost everything. I know what I want to do. Trumpet, a bass, let's do this here. And some people are more like, oh, no, don't do that. That's not commercial. Let's do this, let's do that. And when you see, if you're not there, your song can be transformed in something that you really don't like.
What was the name of that first song the very first song you recorded?
Donde falta el amor.
And did you write that song on guitar?
Yes.
What kind of guitar? Was this a guitar you brought from Manizales, or is this one you got in Miami, or?
I think it was a guitar that I brought from Colombia. Yes.
And how did you learn how to play the guitar?
I had a boyfriend. My poor dad. He hired a teacher for when I was 14 and he was 21. And I learned a lot. No, he was a good teacher, and even I think I have a little of his way of playing the guitar. You know that I don't use the pick; I use only the fingers.
Okay.
And the arpeggio. Yes, it was a beautiful beginning of music. He was singing in the same place where I started when I was 10. In this Cometro Musical.
Okay.
I was on and off from that group, but it gave me a lot of experience.
So you have your song, and then you go into the studio. What's day one like?
De donde falta el amor. Are you talking? Oh, sorry, I got disconnected. No, I just play my guitar. The song was recorded on the studio, just the way that I play the song, natural, organic. And then I was explaining to him what I want, what I see in the song, and he respected a lot what I really wanted, because I love bossa nova. And this song has a little of bossa, but pop. I wanted to have that mix. Then he started working on the song. He started sending me demos. And I was making corrections by phone, or he sent me the song by email. We met like 4 times, I think so.
So you've always produced your own music?
Yes.
So I think that's amazing. So you recorded that. What kind of a studio was it? How big was the studio?
It was a home studio.
Okay.
But in that time, he was using some samplers.
Okay.
But he was using samplers from famous people that have played with him. But they gave him the permission to do this. In the beginning, I was like, I don't like this. I don't. I felt like he was using something recorded, like a sequence or something.
Okay.
But no, it's because it was my first contact with the professional studio. And now he's so famous. He's so famous. He's into, and he charged me a kind of money, and I don't think he would charge the same now. Of course, a lot of years. But that was in 2007.
2007. Okay. That was when you recorded your first song in 2007.
Yes.
Okay. And was it just that one song?
Yes, with him it was just a song.
And then after he sent you the various mixes and you gave corrections, how many other instruments were on that song?
Guitars, synthesizers, um, piano, some support, some lo que decimos colchones, like a bass,
Uh-huh.
and chorus. I think it didn't have a lot of instruments. Bass is simple but beautiful. I really connected with the song.
How did it, because I know you talked about this earlier. So there's a song you write on guitar and then he eventually mixes it. What was the feeling like for you the first time you heard the full final mix?
I think singers sometimes we criticize so hard ourselves, or when we listen our voice recorded. I always think that I could give more, but oh my God, it was so magic to listen that song on my car. I repeated and repeated and repeated.
That's awesome.
Yes, because it was professional and doing and made for created for someone that is. I think we produced the song together. Um, he really had very little suggestions. He was very patient. And the moment that I was very shy recording, being on a studio. For me, it was easier to be on a stage than being on the studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? Why it was easier to be on a stage for, we're talking thousands of people.
I think it's first of all is you can see the reaction of the people. Second thing is that you can get connected with their feeling, the emotions, the how can I say that? Se puede contagiar. It's contagious. The energy is not the same, and the studio is cold. It's cold because you don't have anyone there.
Right.
Barely you can see the producer when you're recording, but on a stage, yes. But that's something that you have to learn and get used to.
So if we can, I just want to, what's the right word? Put a pin in this section of our conversation. If somebody's listening right now and say they have a song that they've written on guitar, but they're nervous or they're worried about going into a studio, what advice would you give this person who has a guitar, who has a song that they've written, but they're terrified to go into the studio?
We have to confront our fears. I think I never been ready for so many things in life, and I just have been there to confront those fears. Um, if they love, if they really want to do that, they have to go through that process. Is when you're having a baby, when a woman is having a baby, they have to go to some process that is not always the comfort zone. We have to leave that comfort zone, and I think for anything in life, you should be surrounded from beautiful people that inspire you and that can give you that confidence, because not always that we are doing that we love, we're gonna find that positive how can I say that, that positive, the positive comment. There's gonna be always someone that is gonna tell you something negative, or maybe something that is good to hear, but we have to be very strong and be prepared for those comments, for someone tell you no, open more your mouth. um, try to feel when you're singing, try to feel like you're with your girlfriend and you're telling something beautiful, or maybe you can hear, oh, what are you thinking, what are you doing here?
Uh-huh.
And if you believe in yourself, you're gonna say, I'm here because I know that I have something to give.
Why do you think people feel comfortable saying those kind of negative thoughts? I'm curious what your experience was like. What was your support network like? Who were the people that were cheering you on when you decided to go into the studio to record that song?
My kids, definitely my kids. They say that they love my songs more when they're original, organic in guitar.
Uh-huh.
Then when the song is produced, they say that there's something that dies over there. I think they're them. They were my and myself because I really want to do it, and I love writing. I love writing.
So, could you tell us what is your writing process like? What does that look like? How does from beginning to end? How does Diana Naranjo? How do you write a song?
Not always is the same. Sometimes I just start with an idea or a feeling. In the beginning, my songs were more my feelings were more emotional, and then they were transforming. I was acquiring this capacity of writing about someone else, about a new that I heard on the radio or on internet, about a story that just I connected with that word and I started working. But usually I start writing with my guitar. I'm doing the both things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like one thing inspire me, the other one. Maybe a chord make me feel something, and then I write a word. Or I write a word and I say, okay, maybe something happy, something sad, something positive. Um, Usually I need time alone to do this, no distractions, and this process has been harder in the last years because all the technology. But also,
What do you mean by that with the technology?
oh no, sometimes we have to turn off our phones, and get away from a lot of distractions. Um, but reading also is a good thing to do before I start writing.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry, listening the songs that I like, the musicians that I used to like Silvio Rodriguez, all these musicians that I really loved, and also movies. But yes, usually I take my guitar and I start writing and working for. Sometimes it looks like it's never coming back,
Uh-huh.
but it's something magic happened that, wow, you say, in what moment I wrote this, what I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
But it happens every time, not every time, but it happens again.
And how do you a lot of people have the question, does the melody come first? Is it the chords? Is it the idea? But you said it's different for you all the time.
Sometimes I don't have any idea
Uh-huh.
of that's more technical. With the years you can start doing a brainstorm, and that you sit and you know what are you gonna create. But not always I have an idea. I just sit and start writing things, and not always come first. The lyrics come first, or the music. I think everything is connected. But I'm learning about this now that I couldn't sing, um, because we create so many how can I say that? Como vicios,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Bad habits.
bad habits.
Uh-huh.
We limit ourselves. And of course, I can create a song. Sometimes I'm driving and I just put the recording on my phone
Uh-huh.
with some idea that came to my mind, or when I'm on a plane, or even taking a shower. Um, and then I go home and I try to work with that. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it doesn't work. But you know what? When I been working in a song, I can stop maybe 2 or 3 days. If I come back to my notebook and my guitar and I like what I wrote
Mm-hmm.
3 days ago, I'm gonna continue. If I don't like it, no, I just really didn't connect with that and I leave it apart.
So you mentioned something very, very quickly about your voice. Um, and I think that's something that people would be very interested to learn more about. Do you feel comfortable talking
Yes,
about it?
of course.
Could you explain? Could you tell us more about that? What you meant when you said that about your voice?
Okay, right after pandemic, we were in the beginning of the pandemic. That was like February, March, and in May, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and I just I had passed for a situation with someone with cancer and on my family, and I decided to. I didn't think it twice. I just say I'm gonna do what I have to do. I never thought I was gonna lose my voice,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor told me you're gonna be singing in 3 months, and there's been 3 years, and I'm just starting singing again, and I have to. It was like he said 3 months, and then I realized, oh my God, there been 2 or 3 years, and I even have had therapy. I need to start doing something. I was like considering not singing anymore, and I was like giving up, and now I'm coming back.
That's I think that's absolutely fantastic, and there's something you have such a because I've been fortunate enough to hear you sing live. I've seen all of your YouTube videos. After we first met you, we subscribed to your YouTube channel and your Instagram, and there's something. I think you have such an interesting tone to your voice, where I have a bit like a dusting of synesthesia, and so I see colors or forms and shapes when I hear music, and your voice has this very, for me, a very distinctive color. It's like this golden, like shiny color. You have such an interesting tone, and one of the things when I personally what I like so much about your music is that it feels so honest, and I always wonder what I would have loved to have seen the expression on the engineer's face while you were recording those tracks, because what you captured on tape is some really, really special sounds. And I'm curious, how did you begin sharing your music? So you have that song you recorded in 2007. How, before we got to where your voice was affected, how did you start sharing your music with the world? Because as you'll find when you visit Diana's YouTube or any of her socials, your music connects with a lot of people. So, and I think it's so great that you decided to share it. Could you talk to us about when you made the decision to publish your music?
I've been stubborn. And I've never been prepared for everything that I want to do. Just my life has been very busy, quick, and I've been educating kids while I was educating myself at the same time, because I was 17 when I had my first baby. And I've been responsible with them and with my music, not being a perfect musician or a perfect mother, but I've been stubborn because and I know that if I want to do something, I just want to put it there. Maybe it's a defect that I want to do the things in the moment. I say I can't wait until I finish studying something. I have something to give now, and I'm gonna give it now. So in the beginning, I have even friends that in Colombia told me, "Oh my God, a woman writing." But it looks like, because that's why they say that in Manizales people are a little conservative, because that's crazy to hear now. And I really started singing in little como tertulias, like open mics, or in houses with little something bohemian, with the people that enjoy this kind of music, or with other musicians, like doing a circle. Everyone started singing a song, and it's beautiful. There's some ego there always too, because okay, let me hear your song. Inside it's saying mine is better. But that was the way that I started showing my music. And in Miami, I've been surrounded always by poets, writers, painters, and I that inspired me a lot. And I know that they're gonna appreciate, because music is that. We're painting something on with words and sounds. And yes, we have a little tertulias, little meetings where I could do that. But then I got more maybe ambitious, and I started doing the Entre Amigos, which because I was singing in restaurants, salsa, cumbia. I was singing with orchestras, salsa, cumbia. In Miami, everything is danceable. But I said, I need to create something, because I think, like me, there's someone else, or maybe more people that want to listen, to find this little corner to listen this music. So I started hiring musicians, because I didn't feel confident with my guitar just by myself. I want to do it professional. And hire a band and get a place with my husband. In that moment, he was my manager. We worked so hard to sell tickets, to bring people, and I made a show. I think the first show was in a house. It was called Magic House. It was an actor's house, and it was the full house, 35 people. And I was bragging about my success. So, I sold out, full house, 35 people. But the next place was El Paseo de las Artes, another place that they had micro theater, little containers where they act for 15 minutes, like 5-7 times at night.
Oh, wow.
So we got connected with the owner of the place, and we started selling the tickets, and we have like 300 people that night. It was a beautiful show, and that was the way that I choose the songs for the next album, is looking the reaction of the people. And some of my friends already knew some of the songs. They sang it, so that was beautiful.
These were all original songs.
Yes.
Wow.
I mix them, of course. I mix the show with other music that people knew, because I didn't want to be boring with just all my songs. People that songs that people don't know. It was the beginning, so it was a good thing to do.
See, I think that's always so interesting because I've heard all of your songs and I haven't heard, not one of them is boring. And so I think that's interesting that you chose to mix those in. Was this before you went to Miami?
This was in Miami.
This was in Miami.
In Miami. But the thing is that because I've been an entertainer, I can see the reaction when people is getting tired. For example, from a bolero, a balada, I can feel that they want to dance or they want a different song. And not all of my friends were bohemian like me or like my musicians. Not my musicians, my friends' musicians. And some of them made a comment, oh, you don't do a salsa. What are you doing this kind of music? Even the way that I was dressing, they were like, oh, you look so like normal. You're not trending or things like that. Or the color of your hair, or you're very gordita, you're fat. A lot of things that you have to be very strong to be there. And that, you're going to be criticized.
So what advice would you give to someone who's just starting, who is afraid of when they do this that they'll receive really brutal, cruel comments like that? I mean, I get it that it's character building, but how did you deal with that? What is your strategy, and how would you teach somebody else to deal with those kind of comments?
I had an accident when I was 1 year old. Sorry, I'm going to go very back.
You can go back. You can go wherever you want.
A glass fell on my eye because I hit the glass. I was 1 year old. And oh my God, I was bullied on the school. I think I grew up being very strong. But I was more worried about, they call me Naranjita because of my last name. The bullying, or because my hair was curly, more than my eye, because I don't know, I was... later, I found a way to feel more comfortable with myself. That it was putting an eye patch on my eye. And sometimes I'm getting ready for going to a show or a party, and I see that something is weird on my face, and then I find out that it's my eye patch that I forgot to put it. So I'm very comfortable with it. But there are so many reasons. Okay, I'm sorry. When I decided to put my eye patch, I was using a prosthetic eye, and that was in the Feria de Manizales. It's a festivity is made in January, and I was gonna sing with a band. And when I was driving there, the prosthetic eye was hurting me a lot that I had to take it off, and I was bleeding. No, not terrible, but I was bleeding. And someone had given to me an eye patch. And I went back home and I put my eye patch. And I was so proud of it when I started singing. And any of the band members told me anything. I arrived to the concert just in the moment we were going to start. And I was like a model walking through the stage. I was so secure and like, this is me. And after I finished, everyone was like, oh, that's so cool. That's your identity. I think you have to be, even if you know that you are, or that you don't feel comfortable with something about yourself, you have to be strong, and I think you have to listen all the good things and the bad things, but you have to you're gonna know what is true and what is not true. You're gonna know what is important to process on your head or not. My advice is that what is your goal? What is your real goal? If it is singing and show to the world what you have to give, and you just sit there and give it and be strong, because we're living in very hard times always, but now there are a lot of hate, a lot of bullying, a lot of discrimination, and you have to be there yourself and go for it.
I think that's fantastic. That's fantastic advice. So, how has the experience been sharing your music with strangers on the internet by putting it out there for the world to judge? And what has that process been like from when you recorded your first song? When did you decide to put it all up on YouTube, and what was that experience like?
Um, in the beginning, you expect your family and your friends are the ones that are gonna go there and say and support you, you know. But later you get so surprised because you can count that people maybe with your fingers, of the fingers on your hand, but you're gonna find the real power of your lyrics. You're gonna find how your story is not the same story that you wrote when the other people get connected with that story. The other people is thinking like, oh, for example, I wrote this song for my dad that he had Alzheimer, and the song is "I'm gonna stop loving you," like I'm gonna forget you. I'm gonna forget about you, and the other person thought that the song was for love, and that's beautiful. That song can be transformed in everyone's mind, everyone's mind. Um, it's beautiful also because you have a lot of faith on these songs, and you're discovering in the process that the reality. Um, the reality is that sometimes people pay for have views, for having views. The reality is that maybe you need to pay to be famous. Some cruel reality. But it's also beautiful to find that if you don't do that, you're gonna have real listeners, um, real audience, and for me, every song is like it gives me ideas for what my next song is gonna be, for what I want, what I don't want. Um,
Can you talk more about that?
like the video, I couldn't say that I'm perfectionist, but I want to look like the professionals, to be there available for the people that is looking for that also. But it's beautiful when a person that connected with the video, that is less processed, edited, and produced. Is so beautiful when someone that you don't know in Mexico is sending a message. This is my favorite song.
Uh-huh.
I think it's been a beautiful process when I made my first, when I created my first video, and when I see the last one, I see my progress in so many things. Um, and I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful that I still want to do more. That after I finish a song, Even if I find that I'm not supported with with the closest people, uh, I just want to put it there for any person that can listen.
So I'm curious, and if you want, we can edit this part out. But do you feel comfortable talking about your last Instagram post? Obviously, I follow you on Instagram, and my wife and I got to see you perform live, and it was very interesting because I think some people are just born with a natural ability, but it was so fascinating watching how you commanded the entire area where you were performing. And then I thought it was so cool how in the middle of the performance you would talk to us, or you would pose for a picture with us. We took a selfie with you. That ease, that comfort, it's I think it's admirable. I think it's very special. And I also loved when you walked down into the audience and you were singing directly to a table. Um, and then afterwards, you published an Instagram post. Do you feel comfortable talking about that?
Yes, but did I do that? In which post?
Where you were talking about how
That I have my appointment with the ENT.
it was the one. I think it was that one. It was where you were talking about how where you felt like you were starting
Okay, yes.
again. Yeah.
I always feel good telling the people how I feel. I've been taught like maybe you should never say what you think or what you think or what you feel. That you need to have a filter because some people can take advantage of that. But when you are on this side of the camera, you feel like you are superwoman. So like nothing bad can happen to you. So I think I was honest, and I think that I need to work with that because talking with your wife, that what she says is true. It's not like starting again. But maybe because for me it's so hard. You know why? It's like you are working with your hands. My voice is my instrument, and something happened that you cannot move your hands for 3 years, and then you need to start learning how to write or how to move your fingers. That's why I feel also that I'm starting again. I cannot reach the pitch that I want. I'm insecure about that. So I'm telling the people the story, how's everything now, how I feel. So
So can you mention some of the the therapies you've been doing with could you share that with our audience?
yes, I think 2 years later that I realized, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. So it's true. I'm not gonna sing again. I start my some classes with an Argentinian singer and actor, very good, um, patient, lovely person, and he mentioned in the beginning that it was psychological, and I said no, that's not true. I want to sing. I really want. But with the time, I realized that yes, there's something in my mind that I say like, no, Diana, you're not gonna sing again. This is maybe it's a message of life that you're not good and that you need to stop. I don't know if life can be so cruel or I'm so cruel with myself. Then I have another classes or therapies with another professor. She's more like a doctor. I stopped because I got tired. I didn't have pain, but I sweat. I used to sweat, and I don't. Maybe it's because I want to do to be singing right now. And then I found this wonderful person that it was recommended by my ENT. Maybe that gave me a lot of trust. And not only because he's a singer, but also he's a pathologist. And it's very spiritual. So I have a beautiful connection. And I think he helped me a lot with this emotional thing and this psychological thing that is not allowing me to go and sing. And I just started 2 months ago singing again. And I'm happy. And I have to tell you, you have inspired me a lot. Yes, thank you for having me here.
Thanks for being here.
And not only because you invited me to your beautiful studio. No, I feel this connection. I feel the connection with people that is very honest, and you are very honest with your music and like a person. And that I don't like people that adule me, adular. ¿Cómo dices eso en español? En inglés, adular.
Adular. Like, ¿me lo das en una frase? Can you give me a sentence?
Que no me gusta la gente que me adula o que adula a otra persona.
Que como que idolize? No.
Yes,
Yeah?
maybe that can be a word. I feel that is very honest what you say, and I like that. You can feel that connection with people that can be there, that have been there where you are in some way. Like and think, oh my God, I'm sorry, you have to edit this.
I have no plans on making any edits at all.
Oh no.
No,
Oh my God.
no.
I was happy. I said he's gonna cut this, he's gonna cut that. I think you can imagine how hard could be being without your instrument. I'm not trying to be a victim, but it's being hard. It's being hard. And the mind is very powerful. You can do a lot of things with that, and I'm planning about doing good things with my mind now that can encourage me to sing again and being there where everything was left when I stopped singing.
So that makes a lot more sense to me now. I feel like I understood it. And there was something in a couple of our conversations, it was some of the things I started to think about, because you don't give off victim vibes, and you give off these vibes of that you've gone through these situations, but you also mentioned that you're stubborn. So you've stuck through it, and you were told, oh no, you'll have your voice in 3 months, and then 3 years later. But I think what's so fascinating, it was interesting to hear you make that comment the first time you did a few weeks ago, because I said to myself, and I saw the video on your Instagram, you've got to be very brave to do that. And you were filming it for content the whole time when she was putting that camera to check your vocal cords. That's what she was checking, right? You're
Yes.
that doctor? That is not for the faint of heart. And you you were singing while it was happening, and you were conversing, and I watched that video, and I said to myself, this is somebody who continues to persevere, but you don't do it in a way that carries all this huge weight. You do it en una forma muy ligera, like a really light, like it feels like for people who are just and learning that we'll learn about you and your career now, that we get to now accompany you on this new season of your career. And so I'm curious, if somebody's listening to this and they're going through challenges and they're afraid that their instrument is going to be taken away temporarily or for however long, what is something that you could say to them to reassure them that they're going to be able to get to where they need to go? Because you are somebody who has not only lived that, you are currently living that, and you're living proof that no matter what you're told, what will be taken away from you temporarily, me as a witness, like I just saw you perform in front of a bunch of people. So what would you, because one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast is I see so many people very eager to tell another person, look, it's time to stop. Like, you're this or you're that. You're too old. It's not the right time. It's that train. Ya se pasó el tren. Ya, it's too late. Right? And I think people are, say if they're just beginning, that are just starting, what is some advice you could give that person who is feeling like it's time for them, that all the universe is saying that they need to stop?
I think I haven't mentioned I'm 51. I don't feel like I'm 51. It's not like being 51 is bad, but for a singer, is for what the cliche is like, oh, that's too old to quit. It's too soon to quit.
Too late to quit.
Too late to quit. I always change the name of things, the persons. Oh my God. And I also have friends that told me, Diana, don't you think that it's time to stop? Don't you think that the universe is sending you this message? Don't you think that maybe you have to find a different path now that this happened to you? Oh my God, that hurt me a lot, a lot. And but that is working on the back of your brain. It's like, Diana, yes, maybe that's happening. And I didn't like to listen my own music for a while. I didn't play my guitar. I didn't read. I was doing TikToks and trying to find, I don't know, like a kind of drug and other things. But once I started looking those videos, listening on my car, my own music, watching pictures, and I said, oh my God, I came that far, I went that far, and I like what I did with the mistakes and the good things. I want to do that again. I inspire myself looking all the work that I did, and I said, why am I gonna stop now? It's so easy to say, trust yourself, don't listen to people. I think sometimes when people tell you bad things, that encourage you to be better and better and say, hey, I'm gonna do it. And it's not what you say, you're wrong. I would say get in contact with all your art, with all you did since the beginning. Look that path that you walk already, and get inspired to continue. I think it's not impossible. It's so easy to get discouraged, but it's like a miracle. It's like a miracle. If you have to do what you have to do to see if it's gonna work or not. And I think I'm doing that. Um, I think that maybe I'm not gonna sing like before. I'm learning how to sing. Maybe this is gonna be even better for me. Because I used to sing in front of a lot of people, like in a party, in a club, where people is talking, screaming, and I used to sing very loud. And I'm learning how beautiful it is to sing soft, maybe in lower pitches. It's a new way to see my singing, to see the world, and appreciating more what I have now, even if I don't sing in the same way.
I think that's just I think that's so cool, and it feels exciting as a fan just to get to uh, watch this new phase, this new era, this new season. Can you share anything you're working on right now, or is that top secret? Or
No, I'm really not working in a song. I'm writing thoughts of books that I'm reading, and working in songs like covers to start having this confidence. And you know what happened? Like 2 weeks ago, I went to two different stores, and I found people that say hello. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I see your post. You have lost a lot of weight. This and your husband that passed. I'm sorry. Da da da. And hola, hello. Yes, yes, nice to see you. And then I'm like, who is this person? Who is this person? And you, yes, when was the last time that we see each other? And they say, oh, you were singing in this place on the same day. Two people in different and the extreme of the city. And I say, oh my God, that's beautiful. It's little things that inspire you to like, oh, that would be nice to share. And oh, I think you asked me about something. How did I go that about going down of the stage? And I love having the contact with people because I want people feel like I care about them, and that I'm no, because the fans or the people that can be your possible fans, they see you like idol, even if you're there in just a stage. And I want to have this connection, like they're like I'm a human and a person that they can come to see me again, and we can be maybe friends. It's beautiful, and the experience that I have been singing in so many places give me this trust to go between the people and sing, and people feel flattered about this.
could you could you talk more about your online presence? You have one, all your videos look so cool. You have this cool editing. You have the cool letters. How did you get involved in doing that? How often are you publishing, putting stuff up on Instagram and TikTok? How do you manage all of that in your life? Because you post a lot and it's all really good content. I'm so curious about how you do all this.
Now, since I stopped singing, I felt that like I need to be in contact with people. I still had this the faith of, it's not like I need to be alive and because of my ego. No, I still have the hope of having a concert very soon, maybe in 1 year. Uh, but I can have the people to go to the, don't get disconnected with people, no. But I did silly things, so many silly things. I like being silly. I like silly humor and stupid things, but I enjoy it. But I also like the deepest things like poetry, or I love sharing my friends' music. I love supporting them, and I love editing videos. I work with my son editing some videos, so I really enjoy it and like it. And it's like telling a story every day. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes I do it organized. Sometimes I'm organized and I say I'm gonna post this week 3 times and I'm gonna do this, this, and this. And sometimes I'm very emotional, which is not good. That is the moment where you share stupid things. Yes, but I see that like another kind of art that I can, where I can share moments of my life, my vulnerability, my wishes, my hope, my political views that I shouldn't mix with my music, but it's impossible not to do it. And of course, traveling. I love traveling. And yes, like telling people something is still happening. I'm here. I'm still here. Wait a little more. We're going to see each other in a show very soon.
Uh-huh. Well, I think what's really neat is that there's all of your videos, all of your full production videos, your music videos have a dreamy feel to them. And there's something that happens with the speed and with just the colors and the movement of everything. It always matches really nice to your songs. And then you do that also with TikToks, which is not I just find it very, very impressive because conveys that same cool, smooth, dreamy feeling. And I think what a lot of you will feel when you see Diana's her post is I think they'll inspire you because of how open and honest you are. And I think that's one of my favorite things about your songs and the message in all of your songs is that it's it's you fully expressing exactly how you feel. And it's not easy to do that in a song and to be so vulnerable and so honest. I think it's one of my favorite things
Thank you.
about your music, and I think that's what also comes through in your tone. And when I heard you sing, it's obviously I understand because you've told me, but it's hard to believe that you were you're working in a new way with your instrument, with your voice, because I hear what it sounds like live, and then I hear your story, and it's for me it's that all that more fascinating because it sounds great. It sounds really good. And then it's learning all of your backstory makes it, I think, all that much more incredible.
I think there's another thing that maybe if I go to my Instagram and I check my things, I have deleted some silly things, but it's like I'm not afraid to be ridiculous. And that's what I've done my songs, because if I wait until someone also told me she's a very good composer, she plays bossa nova incredible, she's a good guitar player, she was my teacher, my voice teacher a long time ago. And she say, "You're not prepared. I don't know what you're doing here. You're not prepared." I don't know if maybe that was the way for her to sell me her classes, but I felt. And I say, "Yes, maybe not, but I want to do it. I want to do the ridiculous here, and it doesn't matter."
Uh-huh.
and I've learned about so many things, so many times that maybe so many people think that I was not ready, but I think that I don't compare often with my other musicians friends, like singers, for example, or writers, uh, songwriters, but I use them to be better. And I compare with myself, with the last work that I did, with the other works that I've done. I compare with that, and I say the next song is gonna be better. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. I'm very critic with myself, and I think it's good. You suffer less when you're not comparing with someone, and if you're gonna compare with someone, is to get the good of that person and use it for you.
So, what is some advice that you would have for somebody who thinks they're too old to start making music or to continue making music? Who feels that it's time for me to stop?
What make you think that I can give an advice about that?
Because it's just
I need an advice.
well, because that's how you are living your life. You're not stopping.
Yes. Now that we were talking about starting again, and I was saying in that video that you mentioned when I was with the ENT doing that I'm starting again with maybe not with my voice, the voice that I have, but with experience. I think it's easy for me to be on a stage. The first time that I did it after these 3 years, I thought that I was insecure about even knowing the lyrics of the song. I thought I was going to need the lyrics, and it's still there. That was born with me, and I think that's going to die with me. It's still there. And I also mentioned that I want to sing for my grandsons. I'm not very good telling stories. If you ask me, Diana, tell me a story, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna start with Caperucita Roja and I'm gonna end with La Cenicienta. I don't know. I'm gonna mix everything. But if you tell me write a song, is different. So at least if I don't have stories to tell to my kids, my grandkids, at least I want to play my guitar and can sing beautiful songs to them. Oh, your abuelita, your grandmom wrote this song. So it's still there. I'm working with that. I'm hard with myself, but sometimes, I'm learning to be compassionate with myself and kind. And all these years without being singing, now being on a stage in a restaurant, made me so happy that I don't care if I cannot be again in the stage where I could meet 200, 350 people, which is a lot for me. I know that a lot of singers have thousands and thousands. I want to do it again, and I think that is still there. It's something that you feel. It's not something that I just dream about because my dad told me you have to be a singer, or my mom. It's because I decided to do it. And I've been working all these years for that. And yes, if I had to do to be ridiculous on a stage, I'm going to do it because I'm going to try it. And the only way is being there in front of the microphone, in front of the people.
Well, I can't think of a more perfect way to bring this conversation to a close. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I knew I wanted to invite you on the podcast right when my wife and I met you that day. I was like, I need to have Diana on the podcast. And because I knew my intuition was right. And thank you so much for being so open and for sharing all these stories in your second language. This has been
It's hard. I think it's the first time.
doesn't come off like it at all. It seems like you've done this many times before. So I can't wait for everybody to hear this episode. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inspiring me and for being interested about knowing a little more about me, about my music, about my story, my struggles, and maybe next time I can be here singing.
I think that would be awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to share all of Diana's socials so everybody can check it out. Diana Naranjo, thank you so much for being on the Too Late to Quit podcast. Remember, it's always the right time to start, and it's too late to quit.
And it's there, still there.